Thank you for having me. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, wherever you're watching around the world. I'm so privileged to be here tonight. Thank you so much to the Young Leaders Forum for the privilege, and also a very big thank you to Pastor Tunji Adeboyejo for the privilege. I also want to say thank you for the good work you are doing and the consistency that comes with the work that you're doing. I've known you now, it's been a while, close to 15 years, if not more than, and you have exuded nothing but consistency in all that you do, particularly when it comes to helping young people harness their potential, their resources, and becoming their best. I mean, from pastoring to being an author to facilitating training programs, you have been nothing short of a worthy model of leading yourself and also leading other people. And I'm so glad to be associated with you. I pray the Lord will continue to strengthen you, bless you, increase you, and favor you and your family. Thank you so much for the privilege. All right, I was privileged to also listen to some of the short moments yesterday from Pastor Sam Neye and Pastor Sheye. Profound thoughts shared by wonderful speakers, both of them. I respect them so much, and I want to say very big thank you for pouring out of yourself to the people here. Tonight we'll take it further. And I promise not to take too much of time and keep to time. By the way, if you will indulge me, I would just like to speak for, if possible, less than 30 minutes, even though I'd been given 45 minutes, and then we can dedicate more time to questions. I believe so much that questions are answers. If you ask questions, you will get answers. When I prepare to speak, for example, I'm coming to pour out what I think. But when you ask questions and I answer them, there's something we call build to order. All right. There's something we call build to order. When you ask questions and I'm answering them, what I'm doing is I am building solution to the order that you have requested. And I think people get to learn more and the program gets to be more impactful that way. So as I'm speaking, if you have questions, please prepare them. I'll try as much as possible to be brief so that we can entertain so many questions. God is the author and the finisher, is the one that inspires. And before we start tonight, we commit these unto his hands and pray that it will inspire great thoughts in our mind that will truly help us and bless us indeed, in Jesus' name. So tonight I'm speaking on building startups and profit growth. We call it profit growth or growing profit. Building startups and growing profit. And let me say this: wheresoever you find yourself, whether you are practically running business or you are a career person, my subject tonight is for both parties. My subject tonight will cut across for those who are entrepreneurs and those who are on a career. Whatever I'm saying tonight will work for both of us. So let's take it further. Building startups means creating and growing a new business from scratch. Creating and growing a new business from scratch. A startup is usually referred to as a young company that designs specific solutions to specific problems. All right. You decide to build a solution, or rather build a business from ground zero. And I'm talking to you as someone who has built businesses, or rather built a major business from ground zero. And when I mean ground zero, I mean with practically nothing, no support, no help, but you have to build from one thing to another, to becoming an award-winning company in the country. So you can build whatever it is that you have in mind to provide as a solution from ground zero. And that's what we mean by startup. I'm going to merge this Because it's one thing for you to start a business or to start an enterprise or for you to be on a job, and it's another thing for you to truly profit from it. To profit is not the same as making money for survival. We'll get there. All right. I want to take it one step at a time. And we can see this even from the pages of the scriptures. In Luke chapter 19, verse 13, Jesus was sharing a parable of a man who was going on a journey, and then he called a couple of his, folks, servants, as it were, and gave them certain prowess or certain gifts. In the words of the scripture, the New King James Version says, so he called his servant, delivered to them 10 minas, some call it $10,000, whatever estimate it is. But the major part of it was that in verse 13, he said to each and every one of them, do business till I come. Do business. Now, do business there, I want us to put it in context, may not necessarily be buying and selling. Do business there, in my own understanding, is be entrepreneurial with what I've given to you. Be entrepreneurial with what I've given to you. There are some of us who get to a place and it's like your eyes has been programmed to see certain faults, certain gaps, certain loopholes in the system. And then what every other person is not seeing, you are seeing it. Let me tell you this. Some of the reasons, or rather one of the reasons why your eyes is programmed to see some of those things is because in your personality, your innate potential is that you have been built to be a solution provider. That's it. You have been built to be a solution provider. God gave you that ability. So what is 10 minas in that Luke 19:13 for some of us is our own gift that was given to us in that context is your ability to spot gaps and loopholes when you work with organization. For some of us is your ability to give perspective that every other person in the boardroom or that are sitting on the table aren't seeing. When you come up with your ideas, with your opinions, with your solution, it's like everybody have just been thinking in another way, and then you come in, without staining yourself, you just come in, share your idea briefly. And then it's like, why have we not been thinking about this? Just like somebody offered Coca-Cola very long time ago to offer them a $1 million advice that will help the company to go throughout the entire world and probably be in every home. And the owner of the business must have been thinking, what is that idea that you want to share that we have never heard before? And the man decided to patent it and say, okay, before I share the idea, let's go into the books. I'm going to share the idea with you, but we must sign a contract that if I share the idea with you, maybe for every bottle of Coke that you sell, there's a royalty or there's something coming to me. Well, probably they believe him or they disparaged him, whichever, they signed the contract with him. And the idea was just very simple. Before then, Coca-Cola has always been stationed in the place, and then people go there, open the jar, they buy, they pour into their bottle and then, or maybe their plate or something, and they go. Then the man told them, bottle it, and then it can spread faster even to places where you cannot be. So some of us come as solution providers, when we get to certain places, and that's what do business is. You can be employed under someone. That's why I said this is not just for those of us who are entrepreneurs or who are doing buying and selling. You can be under someone and still be entrepreneurial in nature. To be entrepreneurial in nature is that you do not find it difficult to see problems and then to come up with ideas that will be the solution. So let's take it further. How do you start a small business? Number one, identify the problem or identify an opportunity. I still said this last week. I said, if you can think deeply, you will never be broke. If you can think deeply, you will never be broke. Because all around you, all around us, are many problems that are begging to be solved. For the industry that I am, I see things that people disparage. Like, what is this one? It's just a common thing. And then someone think of, I can repackage it. And then the person repackage it. And what some people have despised, someone else is cashing out to the tune of almost 800,000 naira every weekend from that same industry. I'm telling you the truth. Sometimes last week I was driving past a place and then we saw waste, people dumping their waste on the major road. It is a bad idea. Government should probably have provided them with a big, a cabin or something where they can be dumping it, and then the waste disposal people can come and pick it. But what is obtainable in this area is that people just come outside, dump it on the road. And then I'm thinking, because Pastor Tunji a guy, one Pastor Tosin Aderemi, we have a very long history. I remember there was a time this guy came up with an idea of waste management. And then in that area, waste people don't always come. And then he came up with his friend. They sourced where to dump the waste. They sourced the houses that have waste disposal issue, and then they provide them with bags and say, okay, instead of just pouring your waste outside, bag it in this place, bag it in this place, bag the liquid, bag the plastic, bag the nylons in this place, pack everything together. Every Saturday morning we will come to pack them from your place, and then we will collect a token. And all they needed to do was just to do an estimation. Can we get like 100 houses? So imagine you have 100 houses that are paying you maybe 2,000 naira every month. You can imagine what that is. And then the business begin to grow, and that's what we're going to get to. But first, you must identify the problem. If you cannot identify a problem, then you are not ready to truly solve a problem. Number two, you must develop that idea. That solution, you must develop it. So my friend, I develop it into, okay, we want to manage waste. How do we develop it? Let's get them bags for free. So they have a sense of, I'm not even buying nylon. I'm bagging it myself. I mean, they are giving me the nylon, I'm bagging it, and then they are also collecting it. You must design a process around whatsoever solution. If you're a graphic designer, if you're a photographer, if you're a video editor, if you're a fashion designer, you must always design a solution around whatever it is that you see as a problem, all right? And that solution should be novel, because there's a spirit in you, the inspiration of the Almighty, that gives you understanding, all right? So that inspiration of the Almighty is what makes your idea novel. Let me also add at this junction that one of the things that makes it different that you are a startup is that you are innovative in your approach. Yeah, you're not just doing what every other person is doing, because you're building something from ground zero, because you're building something that have probably never been built before, or even if it has been done before, you want to do it in a way that has its own flavor, that when people see what you're doing, they just know there's something different about this person. And it can be anything. It can be business, it can be career. I've seen exceptional staffs. I've seen staffs in companies that even the CEO cannot joke with them. I've seen staff that they told the CEO they are leaving, and the CEO say, come, let's have a conversation. I'm willing to increase your money. If someone is not important in the company, do you think that offer will be made? What makes people give you that kind of offer when you are even working with someone is that you bring solutions to the table. You are not just the conventional person, rather you are the exceptional person. There's a solution that you bring. There is something innovative about your own idea. There is something different about your own contribution, and no company wants to lose its best assets. So that's why I said, even if you are under someone, what makes you entrepreneurial is that you're not just doing basic. They ask you to submit file, that's the only thing you're doing. They ask you to do something, that's the only thing you're doing. How about you do more than they're asking you to do in terms of researching how we can do it better? And then you're making those suggestions to your boss. All right? So you must develop a solution around it. Number three is that you must build a team and then the process. You must build a team and the process. You must, I remember, I used to be in a particular state in Nigeria, and at the time, there was a need for me to move to another state, and there is need because of the demand, and let me just put it that because of the customer demand, it was higher, of course, I needed to build a solid team, because sometimes the team that worked with you in the previous place may not just be competent to work with you in the future, except they are teachable and also ready. So I needed to build a team and then a process. I remember then I was in Lagos. My major team guys were in Ibadan. We had just moved from Ekiti. Guess what? I was always traveling from Lagos to Ibadan almost every Monday. To do what? To train. Just like Pastor Sam Nair was saying, to train and to build a culture. We call it our corporate culture. I work with an HR company, one of the finest in the country, for almost a year and a half. So I understand what that was. And then when the time came, I was always traveling every Monday to do majorly training. 4 hours training, 6 hours training, 2 hours training. And it wasn't just training about our job. Some of them were training on values. Some of them were training on customer loyalty and customer, impression. Because I've come to realize that it is much more cheaper to keep existing customer than to get new ones. Let me say that again. It is much more cheaper to keep existing customer with your customer loyalty programs than to start scheming and getting new ones. So you don't want to lose the people that you have. Best case scenario, you had more to the people that you have. So you must ensure that you build a team and then you build a process around your business. And before I move to the next thing, I'll say this one lastly. After you've done all of that, then it's time to get to work. As in, get to work. Get to work. Get to work. Not just talk, not just plan, not just design. Listen, guys, I can be so free with you also because of Pastor Tunji. I know people that we grew together, and I have seen how the wheat, let me put it that way, is always separated from the shaft in this real world. Is that real world don't really listen to people who talk. Talk is cheap, really, particularly when it's not backed with action. Talk is cheap, particularly when it's not backed with result. You can have the best of ideas, you can have the best of solution, you can have the best of innovation. If you don't work it, nothing is going to work. So as a startup, just know, and let me say this, you have to be the foreman of that work in the process. Don't just design the idea, design the solution, and then at the very beginning you leave it or you hand it over to people to go work it. No, it doesn't work that way. At least for some season of that operation, you got to sit on it yourself and work it. Let them see that even our boss is at work. Even our boss is at working. You can't just sit down and expect people to do what you don't expect. Be on the scene yourself. Be the one walking the walk. Let them see that, oh, this is the zeal, this is the passion that is exuded or exerted in this way in our company. All right? So you must get to work. Now, having developed the idea, having spotted the problem, developed the solution, developed the team and the process or the operation, and then you are getting to work, I can guarantee you that at that point you move to that dimension of profit growth. And let me say this can work anywhere, whether it's business, even family. If you're a young person, you're trying to start a family, I can use these all 4 things that I've spoken to you about tonight to tell you how it can work as it relates to your family. Proverbs 24, the Bible says a house is built by wise planning. That's sitting down, coming up with a solution, identifying the problem. It says it becomes strong through knowledge. That's knowledge of building the team, the know-how. The team that understands the know-how. And it says it profits wonderfully by keeping abreast of the fact that is working it. Do you get what I'm saying now? And you know what? Principles governs life. I'm telling you the truth. Principles governs life. That's the way it works. principle governs life. And if you can take your time, if you can truly take your time to work these things, you would then migrate into that level of profit growth. Now, let me begin to drive it home because of time. Profit growth is what is at the back or at the mind, at the back of the mind of every entrepreneur. At any level, whatever you're selling, you want to make profit. But let me say this, it's one thing for you to make profit, it's another thing for you to grow profit. You can make profit and not grow profit. The level at which you grow profit is the level at which you are not just making money, you are making money, you are footing your bills, and then you are having something left after all the bills are sorted. By the way, it also comes in dimension. There's a level that what you have left is so small. There's a level that what you have left is an investment for somebody else's life. So the level at which you get to that profit growth, dimension, is a level at which I believe every entrepreneur wants to get to, but you don't just arrive there. For example, if you truly want to get to an increased level of profit growth, then it will require a lot of scaling up. So I'm not too sure of the demography of the people I'm talking to, but I can be rest assured as well that there are some of you who the first 4 things I've shared, that's where you are. Please pick it. And I know that the next 4 things I'm going to share, which is where I'm going to wrap up, for some of you, that's where you are. For you, you have started, but you are that dimension where you need to grow profit. The first thing you do is you must be thinking scaling up. Do you get what I'm saying? You must be thinking scaling up. How do you scale up? Or rather, what is scale up? To scale up is you are deliberately growing the business, you are reaching more customers, and then you are expanding the operation. You always get there. And let me say this, there is no level you are in business that you will not always need to scale up. As a businessman myself, I have had to do scaling up twice this year. And my industry is a capital intensive industry. So when I say scaling up, it's a lot of investment into technology and into equipment. Sometimes I was still telling some of our staffs last week, I said, this gadget, I think we need to phase them out. I was even in church. I said to some of our guys, I said, this equipment, let's phase them out and let's scale up. Just 2 days ago, we still make moves on scaling up. The reason we scale up is always because we want more. And even for a family, there are always moments of scaling up. Maybe you start a family with a room apartment with your wife, and then you're thinking, oh, baby is coming, let's get a 2-bedroom apartment, or let's get a place that gives us more room for expansion. That's scaling up. Scaling up is you are growing the business or the initiative. You are reaching more people, more customers, and then you're also expanding your operation. I know people who are into the event industry, for example. Let's assume you are a caterer, and the only thing you can do when you start is you can only serve a birthday. But the level at which I am right now, I know a lot of my colleagues who they are not just doing one job on one weekend. One weekend now, some of them have 5 jobs. This August has been like December for some of us. I'm serious. One weekend, 5 states, 4 states. You cannot get to that level if you don't scale up. You cannot get to that level if you don't expand your capacity and increase what you can take. So that's why I say it is the higher you go sometimes, the tougher it becomes, but eventually the easier you will experience. So let me share just 3 things with you so that you can ask questions, all right? That if you are intending to scale up, scaling up is not a point of resto. By the way, the first thing I will say it's a point of reinvesting your profits. Unfortunately, I'm talking about profit growth. You would have thought I'm thinking, or rather I should be talking about saving some money. Excuse me. But no, you would have thought I should be thinking about saving money. But this is one thing I've realized. that if you desire to scale up, it will require more reinvestment into that very thing. Excuse me. It will require more investment. It will require reinvesting profit. It's not yet time to save. It's time to reinvest. How many of okay, Pastor Sam there had just purchased a copy of what's his name now, the $10 Man. I saw the book on his status, so I told him that when you read it, just come and do summary for me next week. I was just teasing, and then he got a copy for me. He was going to send it to me tomorrow. But I've seen one or two excerpts from that book where a couple of people were making review as to the number of listen, the number of loans and debt that guy has. He owes UBA, he owes Zenith Bank, he owes GT Bank. That's what Robert Kiyosaki called other people's money. And for some, maybe not all, but for some of you, you are at that level where you need to start thinking reinvesting your business. And this is it. One of my friends used to say this. Okay, so like I said earlier, some of us started the business by buying 1, 2, 3, 4 with our 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. But in the same industry, we knew people who took 200 million naira to China. I knew somebody who just took almost 80 million naira about 7-8 years ago to China to buy equipment. We can't have the same result. You don't understand? If someone invests 80 million and I'm investing 80,000, the difference will be clear. And I'm not disparaging you that is investing 80,000, but you need to understand that the more you put in, the more you get out. So it's not just yet time to be saving, and except you are saving to eventually reinvest. But to just keep your money with the bank, the $10 are collecting it and they are using it. Let me share 2 more things and I will give you the opportunity to ask questions. Number 2, you need to optimize operations. You need to optimize operation. You need to optimize operation. Like I said the other time, as you're thinking scaling up your business, for example, let's say you supply confectionaries to a particular school. And what you do is that you just supply like 50 every day. And then see, let me even say this. The moment you start getting closer to your highest sales record, start thinking expansion. I can say that again. The closer you start getting to your highest sales record, start thinking expansion. This weekend I have a couple of guys working, and then I was having a conversation with them on Wednesday, and I'm like, let's do this this weekend, unlike what we would have done before, so that we can create room and challenge ourselves to do more. That's what I'm trying to say. In an attempt to grow your profit, the first thing you should be thinking about is scaling up. And even if you are under someone's employment, let me give you one of the best way you can scale up. If you're under some, because everybody is not going to be an entrepreneur, all right? If you're under someone's employment, one of the easiest way for you to scale up is to give solution blueprints or creative ideas for the growth of that organization. That's one of the easiest way you can scale up. What do I mean by that? The moment you start providing solution, optimal solution, that you are giving ideas, creative ideas to your leaders, they are thinking of, they don't want to lose you. They are thinking of increasing your pay. Do you get what I'm saying? I mean, last year, there are about 2 of my staff or 3 of my staff that it was just normal for me to consider pay rise for them. I did pay rise 3 times. I've done it twice this year and I'm still going to do it 1 more time. Why? Because they bring solutions to the table. When you bring solution to the table, even when you're under someone's employment, they are thinking of increasing what's coming to you, and that's what we call profit growth. So optimize operation. I've talked about expanding your market reach earlier, and then I've talked about building a strong thing. I think the last thing I would just say here is introduce new product or diversify. Is one of the easiest way to also scale up. Introduce new product And again, this can be applied anywhere, even if it's ministry. Yes, even if you're a pastor, have creative ideas around your services. There's a way it just makes things go up and scale up. For example, in our church, the month of July is always 2 services. The first service is always business and leadership school. In the month of August, we call it August praise, and it's different kind of praise service, from Thanksgiving service to hymnal services. The entire service is hymns, so just singing hymns. All right, and then the third one is an African traditional praise. Last week Sunday, because we have 5 Sundays in this month, it was health. We had a doctor in the house. Each of these services had seekers, people who are seeking that kind of solution. So there were people in service last week who couldn't pay for some medical solutions, and we're bringing in one of the top gynecologists in the state. Not even one. There were adjudged to be. There are 2 of them. We brought one of them to church, and so when it was Q&A time, people were just asking all sort of questions. People that couldn't have paid for that kind of service when they go to meet him. And of course, the last Sunday is variety more. So I'm saying, even in ministry, these things are applicable. And then you have so many new people coming. If you have a proper retainership structure, you can be rest assured that you have more people coming in. And if it were business, we would say more customers, more money. Do you get what I'm saying? So I've spoken to you tonight about starting up a business and then growing the business to the level where you're not just making money to offset your bills, but you're also growing the profit. And like I said, lastly, if you are able to not only talk about these things or not just know it, because the blessing is not just in those who listen or hear, it's in those who do the word. And if you do the word, definitely you're rest assured that it's just a matter of time. Your profiting will be evident for all to see. I hope you're blessed tonight. I'm willing and ready to take your questions now. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you.
Wow. That's so amazing. Thank you so much, PJ.
Thank you.
Please celebrate
Thank you. Thank you.
To dish out this amazing insight on startup and how to scale up. Please, audience, can we show our
Thank you, everybody.
Right,
thank you. God bless you.
Emojis coming in.
Thank you.
Did amazing. We truly appreciate the time. All right, without wasting much time, let's quickly move on to the questions session of the meeting tonight. As our speaker has rightly said, that those questions will help him to be able to navigate whatever he is going to share to be more personal and precise for us, so that it will be personal take home for each and every one of us. So let's have the questions from the chat box. You can share your question via the chat box, all right, and I will take them one after the other. Those linking up with us on YouTube, please kindly also send in your questions so that our speaker can kindly respond to them. All right, I'll be reading the first question, sir. The first question says, how do you test whether your idea is practical and valuable without spending too much time or money, sir?
One of the easiest way you can do that is to offer free service. At the beginning, offer free services and get true feedbacks. Because sometimes you don't just go straight to wanting to make money, particularly if you're a startup. So I'm going to suggest, I did it several times. I offer free services. I used to do voiceover. The first voiceover I did was obituary voiceover, and they pay me 500 naira. So sometimes you must be willing to do free services. And you see, when you're good, it's just a matter of time. You're laughing at me now, but I made my money. Now, if I want to do one voiceover for you now, if you have money, fine. If you don't have money, bye-bye. But you see, that's just in a lighter mode. But what I'm saying is that when you do those things freely and you get true feedback, it helps you to know whether you are doing well or not. if you will spend money because research, I mean, in a proper corporate word, we call it research and development. R&D, budgetary allocation for R&D is so much in proper organization, and you must have budget for it. People just want to launch out, start business and start making money. It's not bad, but it's not always like that. So you will make some losses, but you can also, and maybe another way you can also do that is leverage on the experiences of those who have gone ahead by interning with them. All right, if you intern, let's assume you are a cake person now, and then instead of wasting money buying flour, doing try and error, you can go and intern with an established cake company and stay with them for 3 months. You will learn the ropes. You will see the proportioning, the portioning. You will see a lot, and then it can save you a lot of stress. So you can do free services, get feedback, or you can go and intern with those who are truly good, and then you will learn the ropes quickly on pricing, on operations, on logistics. I've seen people, who wants to do business and then they just launch, not counting the cost. Okay, I said I'm going to take it personal. For example, and I'm being sincere with you, in the last 4 weeks, what I've spent on transportation every weekend, there was a particular weekend that I spent almost 1.1 million on transport, just renting logistics cars. If I didn't know that, and I just go and collect job and then I'm not factoring in logistics, do you know how much that will cost me? And of course, you never can tell where and tear will happen. I had a car traveling last week, and then when the car had been working fine without developing any fault for the past 3 months or 4 months, and then it traveled and then it developed a little fault. Then they told me that what we're going to buy to it is over $500,000, but I have to pay for it if I have to get the car back on the road. So when you learn under someone, you will see all these things firsthand, and it helps you to build the necessary shock absorber for where you're going. So 2 things I'm going to advise: do free services, get proper feedback before you launch out, or go under someone, intern with them, learn all the ropes, and then you will arm yourself with basic knowledge. That doesn't mean you won't still have your losses, but at least you are safer. All right.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that very precise and concise response. I hope one person who asked question, Victoria, you're taking note. The second question, sir, is what is that one guiding principle do you believe every entrepreneur should hold on to, sir? I come again. What is that one guiding principle that you believe every entrepreneur should hold on to, sir?
I'll just say, be true to yourself, be truthful with yourself, and be true to yourself. Be truthful with yourself and be true to yourself. Don't mind. You see, there's a lot of lies online, facade, people who are not doing well, creating an impression that they're on top of the world. Don't join that race. Be truthful to yourself. This is my worth. This is my ability. This is my capacity. Deal with your reality. Grow at your pace. Don't rush things. Learn the ropes, and God will help you. So be truthful to yourself and be truthful to yourself. All right. I think that will be one thing I'll share with you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. That's profound. Another question goes thus: if I have an idea of a business, how do you raise capital to feed your ideas?
Practical ways. There are many ways you can raise capital. Friends and families, they told us, GoFundMe. That's on a lighter note. The easiest way to raise money, number one, is to start with yourself. Because if you don't show belief in yourself, nobody's going to show belief in you. I've seen people come around to say they need capital, and then you come to meet me, you need capital, you're wearing a wig that is about $500,000, you're not ready. Or you have a phone, iPhone 15 or iPhone 16, and you're looking for capital, you're not ready. You must be willing to start from where you are. Be the first to buy into what you say you want to do. Even I've seen people who say they want to start ministry and then they start raising fund. It doesn't work that way. You have to first of all be, so if it means you have to go and first work, raise money. If you can get money from your family and friend, blessed art thou of all men. I celebrate and rejoice with you. I mean, if you can get money from your family and friends to start a business, amazing. But if you can't, go work first. Raise money. You can't raise all the money you need to start your own business whilst you are maybe under someone else's business, except you are playing big. All right. And the truth is, the more you play big, the more the demands. All right. But if you are just going to have to let's assume you're trying to raise like $1 million. There are jobs that you can do. If you have certificates, there are certificated jobs. If you don't have certificates, there are jobs that you can go and do that you can raise 400,000, 500,000 in 3 months, in 6 months, because of how much they are paying you, and then you deprive yourself. You're not spending so much. You just build it up and then you go launch. Because sometimes there's also no dignity in begging. I'm telling you the truth. There's no dignity in begging. And if you work on yourself so much, let me also say this. If you work on yourself so much, people, after a while, what you are running after will start running after you. I can't count the number of microfinance banks that have reached out to me this year to come and collect loans. I cannot count the number of microfinance banks that have reached out to me this year to come and collect loans. But I don't need some of them. Do you get what I'm saying? So work on yourself. And in starting the business, I didn't collect 1 naira from anybody. Like I said, we started building. The first set of lights that I bought, for example, they used to call it Red. I bought it for 30,000 naira. It was meant to be 3. The guy that even went to help me buy it, took 1 without my knowledge. He said it's 2. He even robbed me. But we started buying the day of 1, the day of 2, the day of 3. And then we started scaling up small, reinvesting the money back into the business. Sometimes some of us also wants to start so big. You want to arrive big. Well, if God helps you, I'm so glad. But sometimes you need to learn to start small and grow fast. Start small and grow fast. So if you can raise it from family and friends, fantastic. But I won't advise you to go and collect bank loans to start a business. It's not advisable. Grow your business to the level where when you take that payback from your profit will not feel it. Let me say that again before I end. If you're going to source money from banks or from microfinance bank, let it be that when you take the monthly payback from what is coming in, you won't even know that something is going out. That way, you're at peace. I hope that helps you. But don't go and collect money from Lapo to start business or from all these online banks. So don't let them stress you. Hallelujah.
All right. Thank you so much. Bro.
Thank you.
Like they normally call them the loan sharks.
The loan sharks, yes.
All right. We have some few more questions.
All right.
For you to help us kind of attention. All right. Somebody saying, what is the most effective way to build a team and a process?
Let me show you a practical example. One of the best ways I did, I have a lot of fantastic guys around me. I can count myself as one that has been so privileged to have fantastic guys around me. It doesn't come cheaply. It comes at a cost, because when I say I have fantastic guys around me, it also means that I don't joke with them. I also make investment into that relationship. But for most of them, I started with them young. My first staff, or my longest serving staff, I think, joined me about 10 or 11 years ago. And if I'm not mistaken, it was around maybe 19 or 20 or 21. But I was willing and ready, patient enough to grow with him. Also in church, I have a lot of fantastic young guys with me who are young, but they are growing. So I am willing to build a team with young people, and I'm ready, even though it can be very, very demanding and tasking, but I'm ready to be patient with them to also grow. All right. So if you can get young guys around you who has dreams, who are aspiring, and you're also willing and ready to invest in them, you might just be privileged. All right. Look, some of us sometimes, depending on the nature of your business, some people also look for perfect guys. And I love perfect guys. It's just that sometimes perfect guys are not reliable. Sometimes they're not reliable. So for me, for example, one of the major things I consider if you have to work closely with me is not even your skills. I can train you on the skills you don't have, and you will have it. But you cannot have character deficiency around me. And you will stay for long. No. So my priority is not even how skillful you are. My priority is about your character, because I know that with your character, for example, I used to say this: if someone is teachable, there is nothing they cannot learn, and there is nothing they cannot unlearn. Even if they are not skillful and they are teachable, it means that skill you can teach them. But if they are skillful and they are not teachable, it's just a matter of time they will constitute problem. So for me, I watch out first for character, and then I am willing and ready to invest in that character to build the skill, and also be patient with them to build a team. It takes patience to build a team. It takes patience and character to build a team. I hope that helps you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. That was quite practical and applicable. Thank you so much. All right, on to the next question. At what stage or point do I know I can start a business?
At what stage or point?
Yes. Do I know I can start at what stage or point?
So this is what I believe. There's no state or time stated specifically when you can start a business. At what stage does a mother or a pregnant woman knows that the baby is coming? At what stage? At the stage when the baby can no longer stay inside. At 6 months, at 4 months, at 8 months, all things being equal, the baby is still comfortable. So your idea, what you're thinking about that you want to start is like that baby. You're still in the womb. There's a pregnancy period, but there's a season will come that is just going to be difficult for that baby to continue to stay. And at that point, it's just normal. The baby will start to come. So this is what I'm going to say. When your water breaks, your baby will come. For some people, your water has not broken, but this is it. When your water breaks, and there are indicators, there are things that shows you of when your water breaks. For example, when God spoke to me about starting ministry, I was just ruminating, thinking about it and all of that. But it got to a point I just wanted to get this thing moving. I couldn't just sit down and be thinking. Even before we started meeting, I had been buying 1 or 2 equipment. We have not even started our first meeting before I bought our first speakers, our first keyboard. I'd imported some of the pulpit. The pulpit we are using, I'd imported it. Our speakers, I'd imported it. Because that thing was fueling. And of course, a time will come that we can't stay. Let me also say this. There are some people that their water has broken, but the baby did not come because the dream died inside. Someone called me about 4 years ago and said, God spoke to us about ministry, myself and my wife. We have been doing a lot of thinking about it. We are even trying to start a fellowship. I'm like, man of God, I'm so glad. I'm here. If you need any assistance and support, we can talk about it. And all of that. My wife still asks me, she has asked me twice this year, so what about that man that told you want to start ministry? And I'm like, he's still talking about it. Do you get what I mean? So you must also maybe be around the right people that will help you. Your Elizabeth and your Mary must connive so that the baby inside Elizabeth can live, because, right environment, all those things can also help you. But practically speaking, when your water breaks, the baby will come. So keep nursing the baby if it's not your time in the womb. But that time will come that the baby will no longer be able to stay in the womb and it will come out. I hope that helps.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was quite insightful. I hope we are taking notes of these responses, all right, as they complement the teaching that we have listened to. Another question, sir, is what do I do when my values are not appreciated by my employer or customer? What do I do?
Okay, thank you so much, sir. For your employer, the first thing to do is to check yourself. Because sometimes it's easier to say they don't value me. But I would rather ask, are you offering value? Because if you are offering value, they will value you. I'm telling you the truth. If you're offering value, they will value you. Maybe the reason they are no longer valuing you is because you are doing something, but it's not what they want. Or maybe you are even doing what they want, but there's character deficiency. You know, I also talked about the fact that I'd rather employ someone with good character than good skill. But if you merge good character with good skill, you are indispensable in any organization. You are. So if you say that they are not valuing you, the first thing I'd like to say is check yourself. The reason for which they employ you, are you providing that service? Are you truly bringing value to the table? Because if you do, it's difficult to do without you in that company. But let's even now assume that you are bringing value, you have good character, and yet they do not appreciate what you bring to the table. Then it might just be that you're in the wrong place. But make sure that you don't just take you are in the wrong place and leave. Because I've seen people that took teachings out of context. And they said, that man said, maybe I should leave. No, check yourself first. Check yourself first. And for those of us who are younger, let me say this to you. Please work on your character. I used to know a lady, she has great prospect, but she joined a company. And then you join the company, the next thing you're doing is you are correcting your boss. You are highlighting their gaps. And you think they will love you. They cannot love you. And even if you're going to do that, you do it in a tactical way that it doesn't even look as though you are casting aspersion on their years of experience because you think you are intelligent. So sometimes when you see they don't value me, it's probably because maybe you have exuded some arrogance, some pride, even if you're skillful. You know how you know somebody has potential, but they have bad character, and because of that they keep removing their names from the list where they're supposed to be given opportunity. So please, particularly for those of us who are young, but let's now say that truly maybe they do not value you, then it might be that you're in the wrong place and you want to start considering somewhere else to, give your best. But check yourself first, and if it's that you have been found wanting in those areas, make amendments, and you will find yourself loving that place again. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. All right. Time is ticking, so please, I'll try to see how I can merge the few questions left so that we can just attend to them.
Awesome.
All right. Someone said, please, can you give steps on how one can start a new business venture? Practical steps.
Yes, I think I've highlighted those practical steps in my first teaching. Maybe you came late. Identify a problem, an opportunity, spot a gap in the market, and provide a solution. You live in an area, people are lacking water or exotic drinks in those areas. That is a problem. Identify it, look for where to supply it. Or maybe whatever it is, just look for what is lagging in that area and solve the problem. All right, provide a solution. Now what solution, or rather what problem, whatever problem you see, develop a solution around it, then build a team and an operation process around it, and then go. Let me advise, I wrote a book It's I think in my first book, and for me, it's still one of my best-selling book. And best. I don't know if it's good for another to say this is my best book, but I know that everyone who reads that book has something great to say. The ownership economy. The ownership economy. I think the book is on Seller. Try and look for that book. It is not much, but it will bless you. I highlighted 5 ways to start a business and how to own your own economy. It will bless you. And this is not even about money. If you are around, I could have given you a hard copy, but on Seller, you'll find it there. And I know that book will help the person that asked that question. So we can go forward.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for that beautiful recommendation. Please take note of the title of the book, The Ownership Economy by JIMI Olopade, and see how you can get access to it. All right, the last question for tonight. Someone says in a situation where you are working for someone and the person is not ready to invest money, and you guys are now building the business on loans. How do you scale up?
All right. Loans, if the person that owns that business is a credit-worthy person, the loan that the person is sorting is also an investment. Let me say that again. If the person that is the owner of that business is a credit-worthy person, and then he, based on the fact that he's credit-worthy, got facilities from the bank and is investing that money in that business, that is also an investment. There's something called reputational capital. Every capital is not cash. Some people don't have reputational capital. Someone called me about 2 days ago to ask for something, and between you and I, what he has asked for is the least I could do. Is the least, I'm telling you, the least I could do, because earlier in the week, someone have asked me for times 10 of what that person is requesting, and I didn't blink. I just, patched that through with my account person, and they solved the problem. But this other person requested, but guess what? The first person that requested times 10 is credit worthy. This person that just requested small amount is not credit worthy. And that was what we also saw in the parable of the talent. The guy, it's so funny how sometimes people who have much are more serious, and then people who have small are not serious. So if that your boss has reputational capital, that reputational capital that he used to collect money from maybe the bank and put it in that business is also investment. Where I will begin to have concerns is if he doesn't have reputational capital to pay back that money. It will become a big deficit to all of you in that company, and it's just a matter of time that company may close down. I hope you understand what I said. So view is investment into that company, whether it is loan or mortgage. View it as an investment, and if it's someone that has credibility and good reputation, truly he can enjoy it. Because people, for example, look at people into estate development. Most of them is not their money that they are using to do estate development. They will go and get the land for family land, go to the bank. I've seen someone who took a bank to a land he wanted to buy. The bank financed the land. All right. When they started building, the bank also came to finance the building. And then the arrangement is that it was like a 12 flats. So the repayment from the rent is what they are using to pay back the bank. And before you know what's happening, they'll finish paying the bank, and then the house will become his. Practically, the bank built the house for him with the bank's money, paid back the money, and the house became his. People do such things. The only problem there is when people don't have reputational capital. Such things always boomerang, and it becomes a problem, not just to the owner of the company, but to everyone in that company. So if he's a credible person, I don't think you have a problem. But if he's not a credible person, there might be a problem waiting in the future. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you.
You're most welcome, sir.
Exhausted our list of questions. Please, can we celebrate our speaker one more time? Pastor Jimmy Olopade.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for having me.